Mike Henry, USA Today. Jimmie, still kind of early with the new package, but what do you know now that you didn't know going into the start of the season about all this?
From inside the car, I feel like I can get closer to cars around me and not have my car kind of bug out in traffic, and I feel like this is going to create more passing opportunities. I think some tracks might show that a little bit easier than others, but I feel like riding in traffic, the car is a lot more in control deep in the pack, and I can get closer to cars in front of me. And from the rules package standpoint, that's what we're trying to create, and I think we're on the right track.
Stay right next door. Go ahead. Let's get him a mic. Where's the mic runners at? Right there. And then we'll go to Jim. Go ahead.
Hey, Jimmie. RJ Kraft, NASCAR.com. Next week, you're running the Superman paint scheme while Dale's running the Batman. How'd you guys determine who was going to do which one? And were you a Batman guy growing up or a Superman guy growing up?
Yeah, I didn't have a say, but I was very happy to end up with Superman. I think Mark Martin called me that years ago, and some had used that reference and nickname from time to time. So I feel like it was much more fitting than Batman. And Superman's going to kick Batman's butt, bottom line.
Let's go front row, Jim.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. Jimmie, you had talked back in January when you were at the Vegas test about the speeds that you guys found and wondered whether it would be different. Was there much change based on the tire selection that you saw last week? And do you think that some steps need to be taken more than what was done based on what you guys saw last week?
Yeah, I really feel it's a learning process. And in the conversations that myself, the Drivers' Council, and drivers in general have had with NASCAR and Goodyear, we all understand that every surface creates a different challenge. And at the test session, I commended Goodyear for coming in with the softest tire, the highest wear tire that they've kind of built in the last period of time. It worked fantastic at Kansas, and I still think it worked well at Las Vegas. Just as a reference point, I think we're maybe at least a second, if not closer to a second and a half slower in the race weekend than we were in the test. So temperature has a big impact on the top speed of the cars and the tire fall off, which I guess we all kind of knew, but it was one of those moments for me that I had to remind myself of. So we're not, it's a moving target. This tire and downforce package is new. I think that as we get into the summer months, this package is really going to shine, and the soft tire is really going to create the racing that we want. And at the same time, Goodyear, NASCAR, Driver Council, everybody involved is continuing to make it better and better. And all the drivers that I spoke to following the Vegas race, sure, the speeds were a little high. They weren't as high as the test, which is a great step in the right direction, but everybody loved driving the race cars. I mean, there was a lot of positive feedback from the competitors.
Final question back in the corner. Go ahead.
Yes, Mark Armillo, the Arizona Republic. Jimmie, there was a stretch here when it seemed nobody could beat you a few years ago at this place. I wonder how hard is it to beat Kevin Harvick right now at this place?
It's tough. There's no way around it. I was probably one of the few that was screaming and yelling, "Don't change this place, don't repave it, don't reconfigure it." I feel like we've had some good showings here, but coming to this track, I've definitely put that 4-car. It is my number one pick. I think we're closing the gap some. The Penske cars usually shine here, so I expect those two to be pretty good. And then I just heard the tail end of Kevin's conversation, and you start thinking it through, and you look at Kyle and his success here, which then opens up the JGR cars. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I guess if I'm forced to, the 4-car is the one that we'll all be paying close attention to.
Final question, back row. Go ahead.
Jimmie, I'm not sure if you have any on your pit crew, but certainly a growing trend in NASCAR.
Come on, 48.
But a growing trend is hiring Division I athletes, Division I football players on your pit crew. Do you have any, and why do you think that is such a growing trend in NASCAR?
Yeah, I mean, to find speed, agility, strength in individuals isn't the hardest thing to do. I mean, there's lots of fit people around the country. The hard part is when you take somebody that's so physically talented and put them in pit stop practice, they usually perform well. And we've learned that when you pull down pit lane and you're crewing Dale Jr.'s car, Jimmie Johnson's car, the pressure that comes with that's pretty high. And what we're finding is these athletes coming out of college that have been there in those pressure moments can handle that situation better. And they also bring a lot of other assets to the team. You know, racing in general has really been a group of people that kind of liked each other and all loved racing, but found a way to work with one another. And the locker room environment that I know our 48 team is bringing, that our over-the-wall guys bring, is something special. I mean, they're creating a bond and a relationship internally that I don't think would have existed otherwise. So, sure, the pressure, the physical fitness that they have, and their ability to perform is one major role, but the locker room effect is really big too.
Jimmie, thank you so much for being here. Men and women, thank you so much for your support of the Helmet of Hope, and we look forward to that initiative as it plays out the rest of this spring and certainly into the summer months. But thank you, Jimmie, again, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, everybody.